I'm part of a team who are about to have a major systematic review of studies of drug promotion. It's going to be published in the Public Library of Science Medicine Journal. And we look through the world literature, all languages, for studies that measured exposure to drug promotion. How often people saw drug company salespeople, how often they saw advertisements, how much money was spent on promotion, something like that, and also measured the amount of promotion, or the quality, or the cost. This is just the studies that we found that measured the quality of prescribing. Because persuasion could be good. If it increases good prescribing, then it's a good thing. If it decreases good prescribing, if it leads to bad prescribing, then that's bad. So, these studies, this is so you can look them up if you want from the slides. Here's the results. Of the 8 studies, 5 of them found doctors that received more drug promotion, it was worse prescribing. 2 of the studies, they didn't find any difference. Now this could be that the study was too small, or it could be that sometimes it doesn't work. Okay? 1 study found a mixed effect. It was a study of promotion of an antibiotic that is good for severe cases and bad for mild cases. The doctors who were exposed to promotion increased prescribing of the antibiotic for everybody. Okay? So that was good for people who had a severe case and bad for people that had a mild case. So it both good and bad. We did not find any studies where there was only good. Now, if you were offered a drug which for 8 studies, with 8 studies, 5 show it causes harm. 2 studies show this drug makes no difference, and 1 study, a mixed effect. Would you want to take that drug? Would you want to pay money for that drug? Okay. So, do we want to spend our time on drug promotion if the evidence that we've got is that it causes harm and there's no evidence of benefit? It's possible that there could be benefit sometimes, but so far there's no evidence of it. Okay, now here is a typical study, again in the United States. Young hospital doctors were asked how much influence do sales reps, the sales representatives have on your prescribing. And 61%, most said no effect on me. Only 1% felt that they were influenced a lot. Okay? But then they were asked, how much influence do sales reps have on other doctors? Very different. This is my test for how many people are understanding the concept, because I can see in your face that you understand. So I'm sorry that I can't speak Italian. Okay, so what this means is that drug promotion does not influence you. It only influences everybody else in the room. So that means that we need to have policies that will work for everyone else in the room, even if it's not fair on you. Okay? So I'm sorry about that, but that's how it is. Okay. So this psychologists have found that this belief that it's only other people who are at risk is very common. Okay? So, for example, my own mother believes that she is at less risk of falling and breaking her hip than all of her friends. Okay? That's normal. But there is evidence that people that believe that they are at lower risk for harm actually are more likely to have the thing go wrong. Okay? Young women who think that they're at less risk of getting pregnant are more likely to get pregnant. The reason for this is that if people are overconfident, then they don't avoid danger. When they... Oh, okay. Thank you. Grazie.
Buongiorno a tutti. Applausi.
If people are overconfident, then they don't avoid danger. When they're in a situation of danger, they're not so careful. And afterwards, they don't do anything to make themselves more safe. So, if I believe that I am not vulnerable to being influenced by drug promotion, I will not avoid it. I will not be so careful to think about what's being said at the time that I'm seeing a drug rep. And I will not check afterwards to see if there's some other information that gives a different story. So overconfidence is a major risk factor for being misled, just like high blood pressure is a major risk factor for having a heart attack. But it's very common. So if you think that you are not vulnerable, then I have no criticism. It's normal for humans. Okay. But it's particularly normal for clever people. Because if we're clever, we think we're at less risk. This is not a proper scientific study. It's just done by some detectives. They have looked at the people who are most likely to lose large amounts of money from internet scams. You know, the emails you get from Nigeria that offer to take your money. The people that lose the most money are the most confident. And they're confident for good reason. The highest risk occupations are psychiatrists, psychologists, and brand surgeons. Because these are confident people. The psychologists and psychiatrists have a lot of training and experience in knowing whether to believe people or not. So then some of them become too confident, so they're at increased risk. So one of my conclusions is that this topic is more difficult than brain surgery. When I give my lecture for medical students, I warn them that you could not learn to do brain surgery in just 2 lectures. That this topic is more difficult.